Welcome to the Double D Experience, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg and all sorts of heinous social situations that we're used to on this pod. Oh, wait, there's like an extra tab open on my Google Chrome. Dennis, should I switch? What should I do?
I think you should switch to it, my guy.
I should switch to it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You should switch to it.
Okay.
And then switch to a good time.
Okay. I'm going to switch to it, and in order to do that, I'm going to switch to share screen mode. Some Nintendo video or something. I'm just gonna click it. You know, why not? Let's see what this is, man. Well, let's switch it on. There's no 2 in there, but you know, it's whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sure.
There's the logo. Look at that, man. It's a Nintendo Switch. You have one of those, right?
Yeah, I have one of those. Fucking 20 million other people apparently.
Oh. It's switching to a different console. Oh my! Oh! Okay. Oh! Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh! Oh! Mom, get the camera! That's fucking horrible.
It looks great.
It does. I gotta be honest, the pointy Joy-Cons at the end, I'm not the biggest fan of. I think it looks a little... The color scheme is... I know they had to make it different, obviously.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's
like...
new
console, so...
And my biggest concern is what's about to pop up right here after they start pressing the buttons and whatnot. I think the biggest thing that they switched to is from, instead of sliding it on, it's magnetized on now.
You slap it on.
I gotta level with you. That little dongle that it sticks onto to magnetize.
Yeah.
Are those gonna be breaking in a couple of years?
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, somebody pointed that out to me, and I was like, I don't want to have to switch to the Switch 2 if I'm going to have to switch to other Joy-Cons on a regular basis because the shit keeps breaking. A new Mario Kart 2, man. Oh, we have so much to talk about today, but we're going to try and keep it as concise as we possibly can. Yeah. We're probably going to talk for like an hour again if we're keeping it a fat stack with you all.
But we shall try to keep it brief. We shall try.
The Switch 2 has been formally announced. It's with that big number on screen. It's coming out this year.
Backwards compatible.
Yep, backwards compatible. We're going to read it right here. It plays both physical and digital Switch games
backwards compatibly. It's coming out after April Fool's, just so at least let y'all know it's not a joke.
They really put that shit a day later. Just so people would fuck. You think people are gonna lick the cartridges again?
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but we'll take a look at this little notation right here. It plays Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Switch games. It is in fact backwards compatible.
Does look bigger.
It does look. It is bigger as well.
Yeah, it looks like the size of a Steam Deck, roughly. So if anything,
the size of a Steam Deck, or maybe just at least the size of an OLED, because the Steam Deck's fucking huge. I don't know, but yeah. Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games, which means I think we're just going to be able to port everything over with our Nintendo accounts probably. Actually, yeah, like when you hold that up, it does seem about the same. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. Details will be shared on the Nintendo website at a later date. I think people freaking out about that one already. When they say games that are fully compatible with Switch 2, that some Switch games aren't going to work, they're just talking about the ones that had, like, specific integration into the Switch hardware. Like, things that use the infrared sensor on the Joy-Cons, which is gone on the new one, by the way.
So then, like
shit like Nintendo Labo. Like, you know, like the cardboard
like a
thing
motion sensor stuff, too? I guess, like I'm thinking, like, the new Wii Sports, like, I'm guessing that might not be?
Maybe not. I imagine it's more so like their weird specialty games that they did, like the Labo.
The real novelty type
Probably
ones, right?
Ring Fit Adventure, the ones that use those gimmick controllers and stuff. That's what I think it's probably going to be. But I mean, that's going to be revealed at a later date, so I don't know how much time we really want to waste speculating on that. But if you have any thoughts on that, feel free to let it go. It is backwards compatible, though, and they made sure to put this one right here at the end of the Direct, even though it's a first look trailer and we know nothing about the specs of the console yet or anything really besides the leaks. Because they knew this shit was the most important. Yeah. We all knew it. We knew that the foundation they built upon the Switch...
From the very beginning.
The foundation they built upon the Switch was too fucking big. They sold way too many units to just abandon that shit and just be like, well, there'll be a new Star Fox or something. Like, they can't fucking do that, man. It's not gonna work. So I'm very happy to learn that it is in fact backwards compatible. You can see the guy playing Mario Wonder on the Switch 2 on the right there. So I think we're set.
Yeah.
Podcast over. Bye.
Bye. But on the real, but on the real, I'm just to echo off of David for a sec. Like, for one, yeah, very happy that they decided to keep their ecosystem that they basically built up over the last, like, fucking, I don't know how many years now at this point. Like, I think 7, maybe even more.
2017.
So nearly, if 7 or 8.
They seem to drop a new Switch console every time the Orange Man gets put back into the office. I seem to notice in the first year of his presidencies, every time.
He's like, I love the Switch. It's an amazing console. And then like Switch 2 comes out. He's like, Switch 2 is amazing. You have to go get the Switch 2. It's amazing. You're going to love it. It's the best game console ever. Microsoft
it's time to
never
switch to a different president. Didn't mean to get political.
Welcome, my son.
The,
he's going to be taking over. He's great. He's wonderful. You're going to love him.
They open up the presidential video game department.
His son's just like sweating. He's like, like, I just want to go home and play the Switch 2.
I'm sure there's other things that his kids want. I assure you.
Oh, but, I'm sure. But
yeah. Backwards compatibility. Go
on. Not speaking as an expert or anything, but at the very least, like, from what. From anyone who has had a Switch over the last, like, let's say, a couple years, like if you even bought one recently. If you bought one recently, I'm really sorry for you because of the fact that, like, this dropped,
all the
like,
kids
right
on
after.
Christmas morning who just unwrap their fucking Switches, and they know when they ask their parents for this that they're like, "Coño, I just bought you a Switch.
Yeah, and
I just bought you one."
Switch too.
Spoiled brat.
Like, he grabs like the Switch and just starts like swinging it on his head because like
pulls up the
like,
chocolate and just starts beating
you?
the kid. We just bought you one.
But now here's the thing. I know, timing wise, for any of you all who did buy one this year or bought one like a couple months ago for your kids or whoever, or like you finally decided to bite the bullet on a Switch and like just wanted to like get a game console that you can just take with you anywhere. I do, commiserate with y'all for a sec, but hey, at the same time,
we don't know when it's dropping, right? We also don't know when it's dropping.
Yeah. So we don't know exactly when it's dropping.
It's probably going to be holiday next year, if I had to guess.
I think either next year or even this year. I could personally seeing it this year.
No, it is dropping this year.
Okay, fine, yeah.
No, it said 2025 in the.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. That. So yeah, it is dropping this year, probably holidays for sure. And what I'm getting at right now, what I'm about to say,
that'd be nuts,
is that I know that for any of y'all who did buy one, like who did buy a either an OLED or whatever, like finally decided to bite the bullet, like, and y'all are getting like, it's like a weird case of reverse FOMO because it's like, I just bought this thing and now the newest thing just fucking dropped, and it's like, I mean, you could maybe go ahead and return your Switch or like, at the very least, like maybe go and sell.
I would call it like a certified Apple moment, but like Nintendo doesn't drop a new Switch every year.
Yeah. But really? That's what I'm saying though. Like, here's the thing, and this is pertaining to anyone who has like a game that they're waiting for. And if you don't want to, let's say, spend potentially, I'm probably guesstimating this is going to be $400. If you don't want to drop that next $400 on a Switch 2, you don't have to. Because for one, we don't know any games that are coming out for it yet. Other than obviously Mario Kart from what we saw right now. Yeah. But, I'm personally waiting for, another Pokemon game that I'm hoping is actually good. Now, if that'll be the case, who knows down the line? But if anything, there are certain games that I'm waiting for.
Dennis, so, as the bald man once sang to us, do not ever buy a console at launch.
That too.
Now, here's the thing. It's different because they don't drop the prices of these things later anymore. And the launch titles with Nintendo games they're usually pretty fire. It's just when Brentalfloss sang that song is when the Wii U dropped and their launch title was New Super Mario Bros. U, and they were like, another fucking New Super Mario Bros. Game, you know what I mean? This one is presumably probably launching with a new Mario Kart, which is crazy because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, as you probably know, is the top-selling game on the Switch. It has been since it launched. Nintendo knew the game was fire. It was just stuck on a dead console on the Wii U. So when they ported it here, added a little bit extra content, bing, bang, boom, released DLC for it however many years later. You know, a little paprika on the side. It's just fucking, salt shake them Switches, bitches. It's all good. So in the interest of saying, I want to segue this, because in the interest of you saying, if you bought a Switch recently, like, I commiserate, but we'll wait to see what the launch titles are, what other games are going to come out before committing to this if you just recently got one, or if you're that kid on Christmas morning that just bought one. If you're the kid on Christmas morning, stop listening to this podcast. We swear a lot and talk about, like, inappropriate shit. So I want to segue that into the name, because the name of the console is very, very important in terms of purchasing it, because I did see one friend of mine who I was able to quickly convince was wrong. Let's go. Nintendo debates online. Not touching any grass. The Switch 2. We'll go off on the name for a minute. Let's think about it for a sec. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's lame. It's lame.
Oh, yeah.
It's lame, but here's the thing. It's the perfect title. It's the perfect title for it. Because I expressed this sentiment as well as Dennis, like when we were speculating about the Switch 2 rumors way back in the day, a couple of months ago, that the name of this thing was going to be super important. Because as we all know, as Nintendo fans, a huge reason the Wii U being a very different console, even a huge graphical upgrade because it was Nintendo's first HD console, people didn't buy it because they thought it was a fucking add-on to the Wii U. Because, to the Wii, because, see, I just messed it up. You see?
Yeah,
when they said Wii U, people just thought it was an add-on to the Wii, and they're like, I already have one, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
The name is so important. People still get confused about the names of the fucking Xboxes to this day because of how bad the titles for those things are.
I don't know whose idea it was, like, thinking from marketing, whoever, that just thought, like, oh yeah, let's call it the Series S and X. And it's like, what's the difference? I don't fucking know.
It doesn't even make sense. One of them's digital and the other one's not, and that's the main difference. So you're calling one S and one X? What? Like, one should be, like, physical, the other one should be the D version or something. PlayStation, they got numbers on lock, and they got the patent on that. So it's 1, 2, 3, it's simple. Nintendo has to come up with a unique name every time, and they're usually pretty great at it. The GameCube, it's a cube game, whatever. 64, it's the 64-bit console. Super Nintendo, it's the super version of the original Nintendo, which is why some people wanted this to be called the Super Switch.
Oh, like Super Nintendo. Ooh,
exactly, as a callback, as well as enough to differentiate that it's a different console. But here's the thing. People are fucking stupid. And Nintendo knows people are fucking stupid.
And
I mentioned
no
at the start of this...
stupider than Nintendo fans. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Saying that as one.
Same as Star Wars fans. Y'all are fucking stupid.
These fucking people were licking the cartridges when the console first launched.
That is true. I forgot about that.
In all seriousness, Nintendo is... I was
you
really
mentioned it before,
praying.
but I really forgot about that. I was just like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, they did do that. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you mentioned it, like, before we started, and I'm just kind of like, why did they do that? Like, ain't that shit... Isn't that, like, a hazard you'd only worry about from fucking infants? But yeah, you have grown-ass fucking people, like, actually, like, trying to lick this shit, and I'm just like, y'all are...
I was in the general section of the NASB Discord today. I was arguing with some fucking infants today, so trust me, I know how they can be. They were down in that shit like Tide Pods, baby, and this was a year before TikTok dropped, so this was like peak
I don't
special.
Get it.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
What I was praying for is that Nintendo learns from their fucking mistake. They learn from the Wii U, please. As they learned from the Wii U with the Switch, like doing a lot of things that console didn't do, and just porting all the games from the dead console over to this one. And it's good. And you might be thinking, how did they learn with the title? Isn't keeping Switch in the title like that, you know, the same thing they did with the Wii U? Yes. And it is in the same similar position where they go from one of their best-selling consoles to their worst in a long time, right? But here's the thing. The Switch sold more than the Wii, so it's technically at this point a bigger phenomenon than even the Wii was, and that's saying something, because if you're too young to remember the Wii, you had to be there, man. It was like the apocalypse. People were scalping for that shit in stores. Like, be like, yo, do you still have any in the back, like their local mom and pop shop? Because that shit was gone from the Walmart and Amazon and wherever you were purchasing it from.
Even compared to when the PS5 was just so scarce, nothing really beat the hysteria that was the Wii. Now that I really think about it, if I had to compare, and mind you, yeah, we were under a pandemic.
You had to be there. It's like, hard to describe, but you had to fucking be there. It really
is one of those moments that I hope gets a proper documentary made out of, because obviously this is one of those events. Yeah. Well, this is one of those events that like we just don't see anymore, where like people are waiting out online, like the line is literally snaking around the block for
people are getting fucking stabbed when they're leaving the Walmart for it.
And like, you know, people literally throwing fists at each other. Like they're literally throwing hands for this console. Or, like,
see, now we just throw hands at each other over like stupid, like made up internet shit because of the prominence of social media. Yeah, we used to throw hands over video game consoles, man. We used to be a civilized society.
Over video game consoles, and at the very least, people were not very afraid of calling each other's pieces of shit out in the street and throwing hands. That, like, the fearlessness back then is unreal. But going back, again, I was there. Me and David, boomer as we may sound, we were both there when the Wii first released and saw that hysteria firsthand.
And as a result, go ahead, please.
No, like my dad, like literally lucked out in finding one, and like, you know, it took, I think, because I was like saying like, I want a Wii, like, you know, and it's just
I was obsessed with it, dude. My mom told me to shut the fuck up one day. Because, I'm not even kidding. My mom really told me to shut the fuck up one day because it was like the 19th time I was talking to her about it. Like, and it's a result of that hysteria that people didn't buy the Wii U because they're like, this was the boom already. We already had one. What is this? They thought it was an add-on or some shit. The Wii really did experience a pretty crazy decline when the motion control fad died off. So Nintendo does not want to repeat that mistake. They don't want to call it the Super Switch because people are going to think that's an add-on. They needed to make the title as clear, cut, dry, simple as fucking possible, to the point where your geriatric, dementia-riddled grandmother will know that it is a different fucking console. Because, so how are we going to do that? The Switch 2. The second one, like a movie title. We have to make this completely obvious. Because Super Switch seems obvious enough. But trust me, it's not. Like, people will still fuck up. Yes, you in the back with your hand raised, the Asian guy.
I think I know where they kind of drew inspiration for this, because for one, we haven't seen a 2 anything in a long time from anybody.
Oh, I think I see where you're going.
At least as far as the big 3, and this is Nintendo included, we haven't seen a 2 anything, even when it was clearly the second thing of the fucking, you know, product line. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, you know, for Xbox 360's case, like they could have called it the Xbox 2, and it probably, you know, personally for me, I don't even think it would have sold as well, just because like Xbox 360, it just sounded fucking cool.
It was also the first HD console, which
that
was
too,
humongous.
yeah, because he was using HDMI and all that. And plus, now
that's another console you just had to be there. Man, you youngins, you fucking missed out. Like that was just that really was the golden fucking era of video games, man. It was really just because
like we were so like unapologetically like frothing at the mouth for games and like even systems back then. Or like games, yeah, because like when the 360 came out, everyone who picked it up, you know, for one, the main game that they were excited for, from what I believed, was Halo 3.
Of course,
because at the very least, like, you know, Halo 2 had ended, and so did the Xbox, and then obviously the 360 came out afterwards. But then now I'm going back to the actual example that I'm thinking of when it comes to the Switch 2, which is the PlayStation 2. And the PlayStation, from whoever here is old enough to remember, was a fucking like just fat win from Sony, like, and it is the most.
They're still selling it today, and somehow somehow sold more than the Switch. All of a sudden, when the Switch was about to beat its record,
and it's so funny too, because Sony loves to like do victory laps of that statistic for all time. They love to just stroke their cocks and just say like, look, we're bleeding money with our movies, but hey, we still got the PlayStation 2 or the PlayStation.
Those sales numbers are bullshit. How they, whenever the Switch is about to surpass it, they suddenly find more. It has to be bullshit. But that's a good point, Dennis. I didn't think of that, because as far as recent consoles, we have a 3, we have a 1, we have a 4, we have a 5, We just need an E, and then we can finally have the sex console. But we haven't had a 2 in a while. That's a good point, man. I guess Nintendo probably did think of that, where there's just like, hey, you know, the PS2 was the last one that did this, and beyond that being a huge selling console, this number is enough to differentiate our brand. It's not similar enough like Xbox does with all their consoles, Series X, Series X, One, like just random ass names. Like, it's weird. At least Nintendo's names make sense. Hey, it's a cube. It plays fucking games. You know what I mean? It's like, why is it called the GameCube? It's a cube. It plays fucking games.
And let me also just say something too, because this is one of the few times where Nintendo, they did this with the Switch, not with the Wii and the Wii U, and this is something similar too now that they're doing with the Switch, in that they are not going the route of just destroying and dropping the ecosystem that they created, and instead now that they're looking at what they have and just are looking for ways to go ahead and improve on it. And the Switch, obviously, from like the very inception to now, has definitely come a long way. I think what it offers, and in terms of like the online services, has come definitely a long way compared to like what we saw of it from, I guess, upon release. And they're looking at it and looking to invest in it. And I, for one, am just very happy that they are going that route, because, for one, again, shit works. Shit has worked for years now at this point for them. And seeing them like actually kind of look at what they made and are confident in it, and at the same time, like, you know, decided to, like, you know, keep the same design and not go crazy with it and not like do a whole nother Wii U situation. This is also them obviously learning from their mistakes, but I think truthfully, like, they're really looking at the Switch for the long term. I think we may have another 3DS or a DS situation with the Switch with Nintendo, in that they're just kind of, if this, like, I mean, obviously it depends if it will continue to do well. And I think obviously the Switch will continue to do well as long as they just keep like building upon it. Because you know, for the Nintendo DS and up to when it finally, you know, obviously got end of life with the 3DS like years ago, shop closed, no more 3DSs were being you know, manufactured. It just, like, that was it. That was the end. And how long was that run? Truthfully, that run was, I think, probably upwards of 10 plus years, maybe even more. Who knows? I think it probably is. It definitely is 10 plus years. I just can't exactly put a number on it. But I think now they're really kind of looking at the Switch as their long-term investment, because it proved itself the first time around. It was selling it was even selling like when it was already past the point of you'd imagine people would need a Switch. I mean, because, like, you know, a lot of times for console sales, it's like the first year is like when obviously you're going to have the most sales, right? You know, people are going to be out there buying it for the holidays and stuff like that. Like, it's going to be like that hot holiday item that everyone's going to want to buy. And as the years go on, and like depending on how long this console's product cycle is going to be, like the sales figures dip down. Like, and obviously, like, there's not really like a lot of consoles just flying off the shelves. And I'm sure after year 2 or 3, like, not so many people were off, like, you know, buying the Switches the same as year 1. But the fact of the matter is that, like, you know, Nintendo has garnered such a strong base of customers, and even people who just, like, you know, obviously play the Switch, to the extent that, like, they just kind of saw what they had and just figured, fuck it, like, it's a great foundation, and we're just gonna obviously, like, you know, build upon it.
It's worth noting, people were sick of the Wii by the end of its lifespan.
Yeah.
They're like, the motion control fad ended, less and less games were using it. When it comes to sales gimmicks, they start to slowly stop. The whole sales gimmick of the 3DS was that, hey, games are 3D. And the first, like, games for the first, like, couple of years where it had that feature enabled, and then all the new games they were releasing on it couldn't even do it. And they started releasing the 2DS. Because they realized people just didn't care about it anymore whenever they release a new gimmick. But this stuck. because it's not just a gimmick. Being able to play the games you can play in your house, these high-quality, at-home Nintendo games that you've come to know and love as they've established over, like, the decades they've been around, you can now play outside your house. That's a staple. The Switch is a staple now. The Wii, the whole motion control fad was just that. It was a fad. The Switch is not a fad. Those numbers never went down. So the only down that's happening is Nintendo knuckling the fuck down, which is the right thing to do. And everything that we were hoping that they would do so far from this first look, they are doing. Which is, again, why they put that little blurb at the end. It's backwards compatible. We're carrying everything over. Don't worry. You're good. Bless.
Well, BT
they
dubs.
knew what they
Some
had to
games
do.
may not work.
Well, again, I'm still willing to bet that that's like Labo and Ring Fit Adventure and stuff like that.
Sure.
They're definitely going to make a new Ring Fit Adventure if they're going to do that.
Ring
like
Fit 2. Literally. That's going to be the gimmick, though. Everything's just going to have a fucking 2 at the end.
No, that's why they're releasing it on April 2nd, the 2. That's why they're releasing on April 2nd as well. It's probably the 2. Is that going to be the theme of Nintendo for the next 7 fucking years?
You know, Is that going to
be the fucking theme? I'm going to get so sick of the number 2 by the end of the decade.
I want to see, though, a kind of return of, like, because, like, Wii's marketing, even though, obviously, like, the Switch, or the Wii, like, you know, fell off, like, pretty hard as, like, the years went on. And, like, you know, people kind of just didn't really get sick of it. It was just kind of more like, we don't want to give a fuck about it.
It just got old.
You know,
that's it.
Yeah, like, the motion control.
We still loved it. We still loved the Wii, but
it's like, the motion control is like, we could give a fuck about it. It's like, but most people played with the controller anyways.
We could give a fuck.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, though. The marketing for the Wii was just so much fun. And at the very least, though, like, I even think that for a time the Nintendo kind of saw the Wii and like they saw like, oh, maybe we got something here. But then they fumbled it with the Wii U and like, you know, they just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like they really messed up on like that potentiality.
E3 2011 was the beginning of the end for them because the only thing they had to show off was Wii Music, and Miyamoto was just on there playing like music on like a little Wii remote, and it was so lame.
I bet you like in the back of his mind, he was just kind of like, oh, fuck, we're so fucked. We're so fucked. We're so fucked.
Hey man, as far as
we are so fucked.
As far as the marketing goes for the Wii, yeah, it was very fun. You know, if 2 random Japanese men in like, you know, suits just came to my fucking door.
I never heard anyone who hated those commercials. I never heard anyone. They like not everyone, but at the very least, like whenever like I even see those.
They really leaned into the Japanese aspect too. Like they bowed at the door and everything.
Yeah, we would like to pray. It's actually like this is shit that would never fly now because it would be like everyone would go on Twitter and just be like, "This is so fucking racist, Nintendo of America."
I fucking miss when Nintendo used to be racist.
Yeah,
like it was. That's why there's not going to be a new Punch Out because people complained about the stereotypes of that game. As the again as PC and annoying as so PC as it is. Though they were blatant ass stereotypes.
Oh no, absolutely.
Soda Popinski in the original game in the 80s was originally going to be Vodka Drunkinski. That was what they fucking pitched.
I remember that.
Vodka Drunkinski.
There was a lot of like definitely
Nintendo and controversy. They try to avoid it like the plague. It still happens. They're one of the biggest companies in the fucking world, but like, who knows what defect that these fucking Joy-Cons are going to have. I'm telling you, magnetizing them instead of switching them on, like clicking them, I don't like that. I think those are going to be defective in a few years where all of a sudden like, oh, the magnet on my fucking Switch unit doesn't work anymore. I can't charge my Joy-Cons. And what do I do?
Unless they can promise that those magnets will not die, and if they're like everlasting, yes, I do agree, because it is just one of those things where it's like I rather prefer that things go like like just actually fucking clicks like it and I'm only saying this just because like wear and tear is a thing for anything, and especially for a console of this type where like and especially if you are the ones who, if you're the type that will like likes to go out, or like he commutes, or he or she commutes, and like y'all are playing the Switch on the bus or something, like like
I see where you're going with this.
Like
we would like to clunk.
Yeah. like, you know, you're about to put it in your bag, and then like the fucking Joy-Con pops off, and then like, I don't know, it gets run over by the bus or some shit like thing. I don't fucking know.
It like sticks to the bus driver's fucking steering wheel. It like desensitizes it and causes a fucking bus crash. Or even worse, what if it clicks onto somebody's piercing?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What if somebody has you're gonna see like Nintendo motherfuckers with like piercings all over their body, like Link Zelda earrings and shit, carrying around their Joy-Cons on their fucking gauges, Dennis. That shit's gonna be crazy.
There was that whole era, and I think it's still kind of prevalent now, but like there was
motherfuckers gonna walk up to you with the fucking like Switch like Joy-Cons on their ears, gonna be like, yo, I'm about to switch to your mom.
They're gonna have like, you know, people have like their own, like some people just have like those crazy earrings. Like it's just like some big ass shit just dangling from their ear.
Yeah.
Eventually you're gonna see like people there with their fucking Joy-Cons like dangling from their ear, and it's just kind of like like they just like yank it off their ear and they just put it right into their Switch.
I gotta give it to them though. Points for creativity. That's like I think that's sick. Like I'm gonna be walking. I'm gonna want to shake their hand. That shit's probably gonna be heavy though. I don't know what gauges are gonna be able to handle that. You're gonna need like fucking.
People, I've seen people wear some heavy ass earrings, and they're like, it's just beauty is pain type of deal.
Yeah.
Just,
on one hand, I'm looking at these Joy-Cons right now, and on those magnets, I don't think it's just magnetized. I think it also clicks in by the charging port. So I think it also is going to hang there a little bit. So I don't think it's going to be purely magnetized, because otherwise, yeah, that would probably be a problem. But even then, if those magnets die in however many years, is it still going to be able to hang on to the Switch and charge? It's probably not going to be the end of the world if it can't, because if it can still hang on and charge, that'll be fine, but it's still just seems less effective than just being able to snap the thing on. But I will say, you know, maybe it's more child-friendly. But the other one was still pretty child-friendly too. How hard is it going to be for a kid to just switch it on? And beyond all that, Dennis, and now one more thing. That was iconic, and they can't do that anymore. Yeah. What are they gonna do? They're gonna like press their fucking boobs together and and now one more thing.
I really think it's just gonna be like the.
Maybe they're gonna switch from snapping to clapping. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like I feel as if like that's probably like the progression. I mean, you know, maybe we'll get.
Dude, you're making some good ass predictions. I'm not even gonna lie. I think a lot of the shit you've said so far is gonna come true.
We'll get our confirmations come not April Fool's Day. So like, you know, we'll see like, you know, if it is just all a big troll moment from Nintendo or not. But
yes.
but on the real, it's we're excited.
Yeah.
I think genuinely, like, you know, it's.
I'm not excited about the design.
I kind of am and not, only because
I think the Joy-Cons are ugly. I know they have to make them look different to, again, acknowledge, hey, this is a different console. Yeah.
But they are definitely on the bigger side too, so it's like it. I mean, the Switch's Joy-Con, I also know, and this is the one big thing that I'm kind of wondering as well. If so, they said games specifically are backwards compatible. What the fuck about our controllers, our Pro controllers? Will that shit also be backwards compatible?
No shot. They're gonna make you buy a new one.
That's what I fucking.
That's my guess.
Thought a bit, yeah. But no, the thing is though, I can definitely see them doing that because like peripherals are like, you know, the other big thing for them to sell on top of their games and obviously the console. And yeah, that's money because like people were dropping $70 fucking for these piece of shit Joy-Cons that drifted to shit after 3 months.
They also have to make them different, don't they? Because now like the dongle that you put the Joy-Cons in is different because the Joy-Cons are different. It's magnetized. I mean,
but if they're still using USB connections, if they're still using USB-C, which I'm assuming they probably are, then it should be fine, at least if you're trying to connect it wired. But, you know, I could definitely just see them at least saying like, you know, oh, but as far as a Bluetooth, sorry, you have to get a new one. So it's like either way, it's like you have to either choose, okay, you have to either have a cable Or they could even go the route where it's like, oh, you could only use this specific fucking cable for our Switch 2 with your Switch Pro control. Okay, yeah,
they're not going to do that. They made the last console Type C when nobody thought they were going to do it, which was huge. That was really important that they did that because now you can charge it with anything.
Okay, so, but then at the same time, it's like, they're not gonna basically say, oh yeah, go ahead, use your old controllers, because it's like we'll be losing out on probably millions of fucking dollars on controller profits, considering like people literally bought Switch Pro controllers by like the fucking truckloads, and like they were collecting them the same way people were collecting actual Switches. So that's like definitely I mean, it's not like it's not that, like, for me it's unexpected to think that they would go that route, because for one, obviously, like, they're still a company at the end of the day, but it's just kind of like, like all the controllers that I have over there, like that I've basically been collecting for the last, like, how many years now, especially with the new edition that I got from a certain friend of mine, wink wink,
still collect these. They made these again because of Smash. This is the Smash 4 one I'm holding. I got the Smash Ultimate one over there.
Nice.
Fucking listen, man, as long as they fix the drift, who cares? Like, I will happily buy a new one if they fix that shit and they can assure us it's not going to happen again.
I have a feeling so many people are going to ask them during press release.
Number one fucking thing people fucking complained to me about when I was doing the program. Beyond, they were just asking what's the difference between the Switches, because when they were buying it for somebody they didn't know, or like more than, hey, can you recommend a game for my kid? He's 6, he likes this, blah, blah, blah. It's the Joy-Con drift. And I had to tell so many people that, hey, if you call their hotline, they'll replace them for free. If it's, I think still under warranty, or even if it wasn't under warranty. And Nintendo just never fixed it. It was just it was like the black stain on the Switch's legacy the whole fucking time was the Joy-Con drift. So and they're even drifting in the trailer. You saw that shit, how they're sliding on the ground?
Yo, yeah. How much you want to bet that was so like just on the nose from them? It's like, oh, they're gonna love this shit. Like, just watch them drift on the fucking ground.
Oh my god.
Nintendo do a little trolling. They do a little trolling, not gonna lie.
And it's like fucking Furukawa just like goes to the people who's presenting like, this like direct to them, and they're like, hey, what would be funny as fuck? If you just add the Switch, like the Joy-Cons literally drifting all over the ground. No, in all seriousness, and we'll move on to what is going to be our final topic here, I guess, because I think we covered pretty much everything else. We covered the Direct, we covered the redesign, we covered, which, by the way, the last complaint I have about the redesign, I really wanted them to put an extra home button on the left Joy-Con, so you don't have to use the right one to go back to the home menu if you're, like, playing multiplayer with people, but they didn't fucking do it. Fuck Nintendo. Okay, backwards compatibility, Direct, Switch 2 redesign, Super Switch. Last thing I'm going to talk about here.
Yes.
We got a game. It's the game we all expected it to be too. It's the new Mario Kart. We knew they were not going to put a new Mario Kart on the new system, obviously, because they made the expansion pack where they added all the tracks. It's the #1 selling game on the console, breaks records every year. It's the one they include in their Black Friday bundles, which they added a new Black Friday bundle this year. Didn't get to sell it to people because the Nintendo program didn't exist this year. Sad face. But no shot that was going to happen. New console, and the first fucking thing they confirm, yeah, new Mario Kart, baby. And Dennis, there's something I got to show you right here, and I think I'm finally going to stop sharing the screen here. That might be important. Take a look at this image that I'm going to send you on Discord as well as include. What is the thing that you notice in this screenshot? Do you you see all those starting lines, buddy?
That is 24 fucking starting lines.
Dennis, blood is going to be shed. 24 fucking players a race? Holy shit.
How many can you play max on 8? It's literally 8?
Who knows with the new one? Maybe they'll be able to connect even more controllers. No, but how's that even going to work,
For 8
like
deluxe.
Local play, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh. I
Is it 4?
It's still,
I think it's 4.
I'm pretty sure it's still 4. I'm pretty sure it's still 4.
I'll confirm that.
How are you going to do 8? How are you going to do 8-player split screen? That would be insane.
Just be like squinting like these. Get the fuck out.
Tiny controller, tiny box. I mean, what do you want to say?
Mario Kart.
No.
8
The
Deluxe.
theme of this game, who knows? Because every new Mario Kart has a theme. This one might be Battle Royale for all we know. Because the course is humongous. No, the course is humongous if you saw from the trailer. Like, it's a huge open highway. Like, they might just be, like, opening up the tracks to not be, like, a limited space, and it might be just a huge open world thing. They might put a story mode in this thing like Diddy Kong Racing. That would be amazing if they did that shit.
Would.
They do something different in every Mario Kart game. Every single new one adds something or has its theme. You know, Double Dash was the double. Super Circuit was the first portable one. 64 was the first 3D one. They added tricks and motion controls and stuff. 7 added underwater and, like, flying and stuff. And then 8 had the zero gravity shit. So who knows what, the new one's going to be here. And imagine if it's 24 people. Imagine 24 players. 200cc. Fucking baby park. People are going to die.
First off,
Dennis, people are going to die.
No,
my anxiety, Dennis. My fucking anxiety can't handle that. If I play 200cc, hell, what if they had 250cc Baby Park with 24 motherfuckers on that track? I'm gonna have to go to the hospital. Like, I gotta keep it a buck.
Too much high octane fun.
That shit. This might be the funnest video game ever made. If they fucking do that.
24 is a number unheard of.
Hey,
but hold on. What number? What number is in 24, David?
2.
Yeah, 2.
2. Yeah.
Oh my god. Not intentional. Come on.
And oh my god, and in April. In fucking April 2, that's a 4.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, but Dennis, I thought of a number funnier than 24.
Yeah.
Let me hear it. 25. I cannot wait. And what I will say, last thing here, I sent that image to Dennis. I'll put it on screen right now. I look at DK. Everyone on Reddit is freaking out about this. Twitter's freaking out about this. I'm here to tell you all, not only to touch grass, but to put your mind at ease. This is not Donkey Kong's permanent redesign. It's not. I promise you it's not. A couple of reasons. First of all, they literally released Donkey Kong Country Returns HD today. The day they announced this thing.
Oh.
As he looks like in the old fucking games. They're not going to get rid of the rare design. Nor are they going to get rid of a lot of the older designs, because a lot of people are focusing on DK's because of how adamant he looks. It's the most blatant redesign. Like, he looks like how he does, like you mentioned it at the beginning, in the classic games. He looks like his OG Donkey Kong model, right? Not the rare model that we got with Donkey Kong Country. This looks like how Nintendo made him look back in the day. And he even looks like this on some custom art, which I'll throw on, or some official artwork, as I'll throw on screen right now. But I'm gonna garner you something right here, man. Like, take a look at Mario. Take a look at this screenshot. Look at how much more cartoony it looks. Look at how much more squishy his face is. Look at Luigi behind him. He's hitting a bump, and look what's happening to his head.
Oh.
It's squishing. It's getting all contorted, and that's not how he looks all the time. They honestly look like they're Mario Kart 64 models, which is really cool.
With jiggle physics.
Yeah, literally with jiggle physics on top of this. So you know what this is, Dennis?
We're gonna get Big Titty Daisy.
Exactly, but you know what else it means?
Big Titty Rosalina.
Yes, but you know what else it means?
Big Titty Bowsette.
Yes, but you know what else it means?
No.
Pauline and Peach, we were gonna keep going. You fucking fucked up.
I ran out of names.
You ran out of Mario. You thought of Bowsette before you thought of Peach?
I can't be
fucking
too loud.
pervert.
I can't be too loud.
Oh my god. Anyway, no, the game looks this different because they have to make it look this different.
What do you mean by that?
The #1 selling game on the Switch was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
If
they make the characters look exactly the same as they did in that game, parents aren't going to buy it for their kid. They're not going to be convinced it's anything different. Why am I going to buy you this? It's just Nintendo being lazy. Why would I buy you this when you already have Mario Kart at home? They have to make it look different because they have to make it stand out. That's why DK looks so different. That's why Mario and Luigi look all squishy. They're going back to their classic designs because that's going to be the theme of this fucking game. That's why they look this way. And people who are freaking out about DK's redesign, I'll be quick with it. The other characters got redesigns too. They're all going to look a little different in this game. You can't see it in any of these screenshots because I couldn't find the exact one, but King Boo was also in the background of one of the Donkey Kong pics, and he looks exactly like how he does in the movie. This is also based off DK's movie design as well.
Oh,
that's why they're doing this stuff. It's like King Boo. It's a very minimalistic art style that they're going with, mixed with cartoony stuff.
You think they brought in like Studio Illumination? Say, hey, get in here.
Nah.
He's like, yes.
Nah.
So we loved what you did with the Mario movie. It was great. We're gonna give you an offer you can't refuse. So we know we're making a new Switch. You know this. We're gonna make a new Mario Kart to launch. We want you guys to work on some of these characters. Put your illumination magics, put a little drop of olive oil in there. All right, and kind of make them look like how they did in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, just throw that little illumination magic in there. And,
I gotta say,
get to it.
Graphically, what they showed, it was not very impressive.
No.
But it's very
Definitely
early
not.
beta. I hope it doesn't look that shitty. I hope, the Switch, the 2 can handle at least 4K, which, the new consoles are 8K, so I hope Nintendo just sticks with being a generation behind. I'm fine with 4K. I need to update I need to update my monitor anyway. I've had that TV for like God knows how long.
1440p. That's all you need to keep it as.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the screen is bigger too, that's more than enough for me. I do not need that shit 4K. I don't think anyone really needs that shit 4K. Your battery will die within minutes if it's 4K.
Yeah. We're gonna end it with this meme here. Just sent Dennis. Mr. Krabs, why did you make a second Switch right next to the original?
Money.
Fucking stupid. We love y'all. Here's the plugs. We have to end this here. We don't want to make the pods too long anymore. It's a bitch to edit because that shit takes time. Well, I'm gonna get this one up ASAP. We actually recorded.
Yeah, we also don't have a lot of time nowadays. So.
Yeah, we're both busy ass people. We both have girlfriends somehow. I don't know how that happened. And fucking jobs and shit. And hobbies and stuff
life.
outside, families to take care of and all sorts of shit. And when the podcast takes an hour, I don't have time for that shit anymore. I just don't.
When the podcast takes an hour, we cut the chatter and grab a platter.
Yes, but not tonight because we both ate already. I actually didn't get a platter. I wound up eating at home.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Some salmon left over in the fridge. Love y'all. Here's the plugs. If you liked what you heard, like Nintendo speculation, or if you like us talking about all sorts of stuff, you can stay tuned next week for when we're going to talk about Mark Zuckerberg making Facebook even more racist than it already is, and how social media can be bad or is bad in newer doses. And how more people are realizing that, and just really the ramifications of what he's turning it into based off the presidential elect results and whatnot. And if that seems your thing, you could stick around, leave a like on the video, subscribe to Nintoonist channel, that's where we post the podcast, as well as on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, which you can listen to as well. Leave us a quick 5-star rating on Spotify, it helps out with our SEO on that platform a lot. And comment down below what your hopes for the Switch 2 are, and let us know what you thought about it. Let us know what you thought of the DK redesign. Everyone seems to hate it. I think it's just the classic look. I promise you, I'll bet $5 they are not sticking with this as his permanent redesign. I really doubt they're going to do that. I think that's a terrible idea, if we're being frank. But I digress. We love y'all. We gotta go. Switch to touching grass, because the podcast is over.
Switch to hoping that they make another Star Fox. Okay, bye.
Switch to realizing that they really went the whole Switch generation without a new Star Fox. Or anything. They skip a generation with every Star Fox game.
They do.
Yeah.
So.
Ever since the GameCube, then there was none on the Wii. Wii U, there was one on the Wii U. There was none on the Switch. Nintendo, come on. It's time. I want to shoot 4K furry lasers like in Call of Duty.
Also I can't wait for those new docks. Those limited edition Switches for the Switch 2. I'm kind of excited for those. I'm kind of excited how they're going to look.
Pretty cool. That's it? No Smash?
I don't need another Smash.
I know. Don't get me started.